CNN did a pretty interesting report here about an aspect of Trump's border wall that nobody really talks about and nobody really considers, including myself. This never crossed my mind, but this kind of unveils this issue. So soak this in and enjoy it, because this is one of the really, really rare times that I'm giving CNN credit for something.
Part of a CNN analysis of 442 lawsuits filed by the U.S. government against American landowners. The property owners either fought to keep their land or tried to get more money than the federal government was offering under eminent domain. In most cases, a CNN analysis found those landowners lost the battle. And a decade later, 93 of the lawsuits are still in court. What did all those landowners get? A total of $78 million, the fair market value, to cover 654 miles of current border fence land the government took. But what happened 10 years ago in mostly desolate, dry ranch land will be nothing compared to what's about to take place. President Trump's recent executive order to expand the border wall could stretch into more highly populated areas. It will bisect even more farms, golf courses, resorts, and ranches. Hundreds of miles of wall and hundreds, if not thousands, of landowners will be forced to sell their property to the government. Former Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Ralph Basham says expect huge, prolonged legal battles.
Particularly in the urban areas, it's going to be very complicated. It's going to be, it's not a popular idea. And like I said, individuals are not happy when, they lose part of their property.
The Riverbend Golf Club and Resort in Brownsville, Texas, is bracing for the worst. The fence is already here, on the right and the left. If the government decides to finish it, it will cut the resort in two.
70% of our property would be on the south side of the wall. That would affect 15 of our 18 holes of the golf course and over 200 residences.
Jeremy Barnard is the general manager and says residents here will fight for fair value of their property.
I don't think anybody here is just going to hand over the property.
Pat Bell is one of them.
And what happens here means everything to me.
Like almost everyone CNN talked to along this border, Bell is a Trump supporter. But she does not support a wall, especially one that would essentially move her home to the Mexican side of it. She says fences and walls don't work, which is exactly why she plans to fight for her property.
So absolutely, I would go to the people that are in charge, and you hate to say I would get a lawyer, but if it come to that issue and you had to, you would.
Bell, like thousands of other property owners along this border, nervously wait the final design, placement, and eventual legal notice that the U.S. government is coming to take away their land.
So I have to admit, I feel a little bit like when Trump said about healthcare, nobody knew it could be so complicated. Nobody knew. Because everybody's like, you idiot, of course that's complicated. Like, how did you not know that? I feel a little bit like Trump on this issue. Because on the wall, I always thought like, yeah, it's a wall. So they're just going to like build a wall. And like, I'm not for it, but I'm just super indifferent to it. It's just like a symbolic bullshit thing that all these right-wingers really want. But I kind of always thought like, they just build a wall. That's what they do. But no, apparently, who knew building a wall could be so complicated? Who knew? Who knew? It actually really is. So they go on to say there that, so the U.S. government did build like a fence or a wall, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, in many parts on the border already. And what they say is this has happened so many times where just the path of the wall it cuts off a lot of people's property. And as a result of that, what you're doing is eminent domain. You're seizing private property from Americans for the greater good. The government is just seizing, or perceived greater good. The government is just seizing it. And what's hilarious is you're pitting two, like, conservative Republican positions against each other. Conservative Republicans, on the one hand, a lot of them say, I want the wall, goddammit, gotta have that wall on the southern border, it's a necessity, build the wall, and Mexico ought to pay for it. But then another thing they say is, need to get the federal government out my damn life. They got no right to take my money in taxes, and they got no right to seize my land. Are you crazy? But here you have, it's one or the other. You could either have your wall, or you could have the government seize a lot of property from a lot of people. By the way, so many of them, Trump voters. Trump voters. They voted for Trump, and now it might be the case that his wall/fence that may not be built would go like directly through their property and would cut off a lot of it, seize some of it. Some of them, like they just said, I'm amazed that some people would apparently be on the other side of the wall. I don't even get how that works. Like, I get how they would want, like the golf course example, I get. Like, technically, okay, it's in the U.S., but to build a wall, you just kind of have to go through it, you know? So, I get that. I don't get it's a house, but it's literally on the other side of the wall. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just the best way to build the wall would just exclude some number of people. And even if it's like, in the grand scheme of things, a small number of people, it affects them a lot, whether a few hundred people or whatever it is. So I never thought of that, but that's really fascinating and really interesting. And my guess is, if you were to poll the right on this is speculation clearly, and you were to say the wall or seizing property from, let's say, over 1,000 people, and having the government just take it, I think most of them would say the wall. Like, you keep the wall and take the property from them. They're in the way. But that directly contradicts, number one, what they would say if it was affecting them personally. Number two, what they would say if it's almost any other issue. If there's like a highway being built and somebody takes your land, they'd be like, that's wrong, tyranny. Unless it's to build a wall, in which case, awesome. Because you got to keep those brown people out.